hours to 19 hours. On Saturday, the 5th of December 2020, Dr. Francis Miles will conduct a full-day seminar on destroying evil limiting altars. Time 09 hours to 16:30 hours. Lunch and drinks will be on sale. On Sunday, Dr. Miles will conduct a service at 09 hours to 11 hours with your hosts, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Music by Kings Malembe Malembe. Admission is free.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. The KAPIJIMPANGA Royal Establishment has warned former Inspector General of Police EPHRAIM MATEYO against breeding anarchy in the chiefdom by purporting that he is the new Chief KAPIJIMPANGA. On the 28th of November 2020, Mr. MATEYO, who is also a past immediate former Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary, was secretly installed as caretaker chief while the palace already had another chief in place. But the KAPIJIMPANGA Royal Establishment says Mr. Mateyo's actions may bring about war, advising him to stop what they have termed as traditional jokes or be met head-on. More in this report.
While His Royal Highness Chief KAPIJIMPANGA of the Kaunda-speaking people of Solwezi District in the Northwestern Province was busy carrying out his duties as Chief, former Inspector General of Police and past immediate Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary EPHRAIM MATEYO was busy being installed as caretaker chief, KAPIJIMPANGA, at an unknown location on the 28th of November 2020. This purported installation was held in secrecy with a minimum number of people, mainly family members from the Mateyos.
Amuwaya amina atongolwa ku mafumu ni mwana ba mubambe ba mushiya ya miswanyika ba mafumu kabizimiwa ya miswanyika bitumba fumu nati bino byo ibyo
kwepi ko baswanyikire kwa kubira mafumu bakwabo fomu yense baswanyika mafumu bakwabo bamunjimanzovu bo bafona kutanu wakona kuswanyika.
This group of people, calling itself as the Real Vernacular Royal Establishment, is accusing the current Chief Kilolo Msangambi of gross royal misconduct, unlawful conversion of traditional land for his personal gain, and misappropriation of royal trust funds, allegations which have been trashed by the current royal traditional leadership on the throne.
Bena kushokoroka yense bufumu bwa KAPIJIMPANGA na kuya kurondorera abantu pakino kino kyamweka ngatwapwisha byobyo popa kuyapa no kusoromoka kukafurumende ke kuya kwikala nawo na bakafurumende na kuibarondorera mba awaye mwangiranga nawo pano kyaba byepi kyapwa
nangwa kitumba fumo nangwa mfumu kange seke kutwera muwaye mambone betuleke ateba bene bena cyuru tukontorore potu arubankanya tuibana bankaje nangwanga kuipa ya tukeipa ya teba bene
para sinayo kafako ngemo ya mpara sinsonoto para siyonse baunagura pano kazi kintu kinga kimoto twashingira atebe na cyuru mucyumvuishe pakona ura bintu bya bufumu bintu bya bufumu yo protection ya bufumu para byonse kona ura gusoka para byasoka mikira byonse nko wabika byavura kena fana kubitongola ne mambo bimo byajika para byauna ura tukebitana pi bintu byafumanga zimo ku Kongo zimo kukora zimo kwebiko byafumanga para byonse waka wasoka.
Sister to the current chief warns that if Mr. Mateyo wants to bring war to them, they have gotten what they want and it's game on.
Ya minyenga ya bamfumu ba KAPIJIMPANGA abe byonse byo bena kwamba bo bena cyuru nkeba ishire kuyatweba na kwitubu kubula mbatube byo byone ate bano be family ke tusakwibisuisha byo byone bena kukeba kureta nkondo muno ngebe na kukeba kureta nkondo bebe manene atweba kukipango abo muzivumo z'abanganyi njo bafumamo pako bambatwiba yuke po batendekerane po bapeja ke twiba yuka ne ke tuna kukeba ne confusion ne kwituletera confusion ne twakana ate bene tunakeba kuikwatankana ne kubwera pamone kuingizira bufumu bwetu banoboke barete po ma confusion.
They have further challenged Mr. Mateyo to tell the nation
panoketi bonse tewa ba kubufumu amba tukaswana bufumu ne kujikisemi kyafaina kuikara kuswana bufumu abebe na kyuru bonse tuibe na kyuru kange tuketere kuamba twafaina kuswana bufumu ne awa Mateyo nango ababe kwibika popo keba konsha kuswana bufumu ne keba dimukisemi keba dimumuraini wa kuswana bufumu ne.
They highlight that only Senior Chief Mujimanzovu is the right chief to preside over the Kapijimpanga chief installation, saying what Mr. Mateyo and group were doing were mere jokes, simply put in the local language, mansansa.
Neva swanyika kafako ko baswanyika mfumu mayone kechi kino kime cha mayone abo bantu bene kukaya tu muibabule kubamba bareke kufuma lero mambo tuketenu na chatama.
Kalan Ochima reporting for Camnet News.
And Kapijimpanga Ward Councillor Alex Wupe says the Civic Centre has no records of Mr. Mateyo as being Chief Kapijimpanga. Mr. Wupe explains that as far as he and the people of Kapijimpanga are aware, they already have a functioning chief in place.
To me, what I know is we have already a chief there by the name of Kapijimpanga, which the chief I know. But for the new one, I'm not aware. And for now, I'm not aware because you have got already a chief who is in the palace. So for the new one, the new installation, no, I've got no idea, but because we have got already the chief there. Even at Civic Center, we don't know about the new chief. We knew the only chief which we knew is the old one, which is there since 2010 up to now. But the new one, by the name of Mr. EPHRAIM Mateyo, I know I'm not aware about it. Let's be calm. We have got already a chief there. That is the only appeal to me. But if there will be some changes, we'll be told. But for now, we just knew the same one who is there.
A political activist, Charles Mwelwa, has condemned the emerging trend of insults targeted at the presidency. Mr. Mwelwa calls on Zambians to respect the office, saying it's against the Zambian culture to shower unpalatables on leaders. He says insults are also against the country's national values and norms. Mr. Mwelwa has underscored the need to protect the presidency regardless of who is in office. Last week, the Zambia Police Service in Kitwe arrested a Zambian youth for insulting President Edgar Lungu. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwelwa says he will petition the Ministries of Justice and Transport and Communication to expedite the process of enacting cyber laws in order to promote the responsible use of social media in the country.
It's something that is very, very unfortunate that our colleagues or my fellow youths would actually want to use social media to insult elders. It's something that is very, very unfortunate. And as such, I'm not just seated as an individual, as a concerned citizen. I've actually taken a step forward. I've actually written to the Minister of Justice to petition them. From the layman point of view, I've actually petitioned them to make sure that they actually, if we can actually have something like an SI in terms of cyber laws, then it is actually interest, or my interest is simply to protect the presidency as an institution. Not President Lungu, not Hakainde Hichilema, not Chimba Kambwiri, not Hari Kalava, whosoever, not Felix Mutati, but presidency as an institution. But believe me or not, if this thing is left unchecked, it is something that we are actually going to regret as a country.
The Council of Churches in Zambia has expressed concern with the idea of centralizing of national resources coming from mining companies. CC said General Secretary Father Emmanuel Chikoya says communities hosting mining companies must be given priorities when it comes to development, and like money coming from their communities being channeled to develop other areas. Father Chikoya wonders why communities where mineral resources are coming from from remain underdeveloped, while poverty is the order, as all funds being realized from such areas are directed to other needs across the country. He has since called for the decentralization of mining resources in order to ensure that mining communities start benefiting more from the proceeds realized from the sector. He has further recommended that a certain amount of mining royalties be directed to communities so that chiefdoms can directly administer it to bringing about development.
The local communities of that development that is needed. So we would like to see a situation where there is decentralization, where the management of revenue is in such a way that certain a reasonable allocation from the royalties is directly given to local communities. We would want to see chiefdoms that are empowered and chiefdoms that are no longer beneficiaries of corporate social responsibility crumbs, but they're in the boardroom. And for that to happen, you need a government that is able to empower its people, but also the chiefdoms can also just take it upon themselves to look in-house, check and take stock of who is who within their chiefdoms, and form formidable teams that will engage with any investor, so that the interests of those local communities is always taken care of. Because a politician cannot take care of your interests. They will always do things as long as they favor them. Anything that will not favor them, they will always dilly-dally on it. And so it will take forever to have certain pieces of legislation put in place. So ideally, we must make sure that these mining communities and places where mining is taking place are made usable again. For that, you need a very strong legal system, and that is implemented and enforced, so that when a mine goes, you can reclaim that land and people can still use it for other productive activities. And so at the end of the day, you also don't want just the lime painting of schools and things. We want high quality schools. We want the road sector. I mean, infrastructure like roads, schools, hospitals built, but also through the mining activities, the diversification of the economies of these communities.
Government has charged that Zambia can only achieve an HIV-free status by the year 2030 if people know their HIV status now without being forced. Speaking at the World AIDS Day commemoration in Lusaka Tuesday, themed "The Future is Our Responsibility, Let's Take Action Now," Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya says Zambia still has a lot to do in order to meet its aspirations in fighting HIV. Dr. Chilufya says government is committed to investing in the health sector, including the fight against HIV, by making sure that people living with the virus are protected during the pandemic and ensuring they can maintain treatment, which is critical.
Today marks exactly 32 years since World AIDS Day was first observed in 1988. Each year, organizations and individuals across the world bring attention to the HIV epidemic, endeavor to increase HIV awareness and knowledge, speak out against HIV stigma. The 2020 World AIDS Day is being commemorated under strict and difficult times when the world is fighting a pandemic otherwise known as the COVID-19. The COVID-19 is said to have placed those living with HIV on a high risk of infection and losing their lives after contracting it. It is for this reason that this year's World AIDS Day has been described as unique. In Zambia, the commemorations were held countrywide, but in Lusaka, the commemorations were led by Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya, themed "The Future is Our Responsibility, Let Us Take Action Now." National AIDS Council Director Connie Osborne says if Zambia fails to control the COVID-19 pandemic, it can undo all that the country has fought for thus far. She says Zambia is one of the first few countries that has managed to reach the 90-90-90 targets, which she says is a step in the right direction.
AIDS Day today, and we have a lot as a country to be happy about. First, we are one of a few countries globally that have managed to reach the 90-90-90 treatment targets. Secondly, we are on track towards elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV. The mother-to-child transmission rate has come down from 35% in 2010 to less than 4%. We also can be proud of the efforts of implementing the National Voluntary Medical Male Circumcision Program, in which we have exceeded our 2020 target of circumcising over 1 million men.
And representing the United Nations, Tasise says Zambia has made strides despite recording high cases of HIV. He, however, says the COVID-19 is threatening the gains that have been made thus far.
World AIDS Day 2020 will be like no other. COVID-19 is threatening the progress that the world has made in health and the development over the past 20 years. And that includes the gains we have made against HIV. Like all epidemics, COVID-19 is widening the inequalities that already existed. Gender inequality, racial inequality, social and economic inequalities.
The youths were also given a chance to speak to the leaders of what they want to be done for the youths living with HIV. Shambala Diangamo says there is need to bridge the information gap related to HIV infection, treatment and care among adolescents.
We need repeated information on HIV viral load. There is reduced risk of sexually transmitting HIV to the partner.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya says government will continue to invest more in health-related programs, including HIV.
Radical transformation agenda in the health sector, repositioning health systems to attain universal health coverage. The government of the Republic of Zambia, under the stewardship of His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa is focused on ending HIV/AIDS by the year 2030. This futuristic target is only attainable if you and I take responsibility, if you and I take ownership, and that resonates precisely with this year's theme for the World AIDS Day that states that the future is our responsibility. We need to take action now. Since the beginning of HIV/AIDS, Zambia has worked closely with its cooperating partners to combat HIV/AIDS.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, a health practitioner says despite Zambia meeting the 90 HIV targets, more needs to be done in order to end the virus in the country. UNAIDS 90-90-90 strategy calls for 90% of HIV-infected individuals to be diagnosed by 2020, 90% of whom will be on antiretroviral therapy and 90% of whom will achieve sustained virologic suppression. Ministry of Health National Paramedic HIV mentor Kuzwayo Ziambo observes that information dissemination remains vital towards combating the pandemic. We have more in this report.
This year's World AIDS Day comes in the midst of another global epidemic, the novel coronavirus disease, COVID-19. The public health response to these epidemics is linked. The COVID-19 pandemic is threatening access to HIV prevention, testing, treatment and care. And without strategies to meet these needs, the country may see a resurgence of HIV that would threaten public health response to COVID-19. Speaking during the Zamcom Science Media Cafe in Lusaka on Tuesday, 1st December 2020, Minister of Health National Pediatric HIV mentor Kozia Ziambo underscored the need to continuously build trust between health practitioners and the media in information dissemination on HIV and the COVID-19 pandemic. He adds that Zambia has made progress in implementing the 90 targets on HIV.
Virally suppressed. So according to the current, this is the program data, the latest data that we have as at Q2 in 2020, which is the HMIS, the Health Information and Management System. That's the one that I'm quoting. This is the program data, and it shows that we have achieved most of the 90s, and so we are actually on track in achieving that. And then that we believe that once we have so many people who are on treatment and that the virus is not detected, then we know that they will not be able to transmit the infection to others.
Speaking at the same meeting, veteran media trainer Herbert Marcher reminded the media to stand for professionalism when covering health issues by upholding media ethics.
Despite all the social media euphoria that has come amongst ourselves, people still fall back to traditional media for news, for information. This is why, colleagues, we must harness. And it's very important that we adhere to ethical requirements, especially when we are reporting health matters.
In the meantime, Network for People Living with HIV Programs Manager Dennis Chibuye says they remain optimistic that a cure will be found to curb HIV.
It starts with every individual to take up a step, go for testing, if found to be positive, we put on treatment, because the policy now is that once you are tested positive, you are put on treatment. So if people open up and get tested, because information has gone out there, everyone knows what HIV is and the benefits of testing. So if we have a lot of people testing, those that have not tested, and we put them on treatment, then we are going to end AIDS by 2030.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
A United Party for National Development UPND youth Matomola Lukwaya, who was arrested on the 17th of November 2020 for protesting half-naked at the University of Zambia UNZA after the institution blocked some students from writing their exams due to financial balances, has appeared in court. Matomola appeared in court for plea after spending 12 days in detention. Matomola, 29, was, however, never called to take the stand to take plea, but his case was adjourned to a later date for unknown reason by Magistrate Mwandu Sakala. The accused is facing one count of idle and disorderly conduct contrary to the laws of Zambia. Matomola is further being accused of disorderly conduct at a public institution, but some UPND officials who went to offer solidarity at court have described the premature adjournment as an assault on the dispensation of justice against the accused.
He spent close to 12 days in detention after his arrest. Likwanya Matomola, who was arrested on the 18th of November 2020 after protesting half-naked at the University of Zambia, appeared before court this morning. The accused, who has been charged with one count of idle and disorderly persons, contrary to Section 176C of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia, failed to take his plea. However, sympathizers who came to offer their solidarity to the accused had this to say.
I'm very disappointed with the judicial system now. What's happening is not supposed to have taken place. But what I urge every Zambian in this country, and especially in Lusaka province, we should mobilize and go and register as voters so that we remove this regime here. What is happening here, it's just they want to infringe on our rights. We've got the right to come to court, and our person has the right to appear before the courts, but the justice has been delayed. They can't allocate a magistrate who is not around. It was a deliberate move, but we are not intimidated.
Allegations in this case are that the accused was a UPND Vice Information and Publicity Secretary and a teacher on the 18th of November 2020 in Lusaka, being a person at a public, namely the University of Zambia, did conduct himself in a disorderly manner. He is expected to make his appearance before Magistrate Mwandu Sakala tomorrow for his plea. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
We take our first set of commercials to stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
Have you had issues in your life and family? Has your life been stagnant or you have been going in circles? All hope is not lost. Your life will bounce back again. Dr. Francis Miles will be speaking at the Court of Heaven Conference on Thursday 3rd and Friday 4th December 2020 from 17 hours to 19 hours. On Saturday the 5th of December 2020, Dr. Francis Miles will conduct a full-day seminar on destroying evil limiting altars. Time 09 hours to 16:30 hours. Lunch and drinks will be on sale. On Sunday, Dr. Miles will conduct a service at 09 hours to 11 hours with your hosts, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Music by Kings Malembe Malembe. Admission is free.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale has acquitted former Capital Buses Operations Manager Arnold Zulu in a case where he's charged with sodomy. In discharging Mr. Zulu, the court ruled that a prima facie case has not been established against the accused person. Zulu, 38, was charged with one count of indecent practices between males. Allegations were that on the 22nd of August 2019 in Lusaka, jointly and whilst acting together with other persons unknown, did commit an act of gross indecency. More in this report.
Arnold Zulu, the man accused of engaging in a sexual act with a fellow man last year, has been set at liberty by the Lusaka's Magistrate Court. Zulu, a former Capital Buses Operations Manager, aged 38, was charged with one count of indecent practices between males. He was jointly charged with Mazwa Mwinga, whose case was later discontinued by the state with a nolle and was turned into a state witness. However, delivering ruling, Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale states that the essential elements of the offense Zulu is charged with, bordering on the act of alleged unlawful canon knowledge against the order of nature, was not proved by the state. Zulu, who appeared for a ruling on case or no case to answer, was acquitted by the court after the state failed to establish a prima facie against him. Last year, Zulu was arrested by the police after they allegedly found him having sexual intercourse against the order of nature. During trial, the court heard how a doctor did not have findings to conclude that there was sexual intercourse between the Flash Buses manager, Zulu, and the 21-year-old Mazwa Mwinga he was accused of sodomizing. Mwinga, however, testified that Zulu grabbed and pushed him on the bed and tried to have sexual intercourse with him when he went to seek for employment from him. He had told court that Zulu offered him 10,000 kwacha not to say anything to the police after they were apprehended. However, the evidence produced by the state was not sufficient enough to find him with a case to answer. Zulu is now a free man. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
And still in court news, a 62-year-old man of Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound who allegedly assaulted his Anglican priest while in church has pleaded not guilty to one count of assault. In this matter, Mr. Renard Mwale has been charged with one count of assault occasioning actual bodily harm contrary to the laws of Zambia. Particulars of the offense in the matter allege that on the 22nd of November 2020 in Lusaka, Mwale assaulted Boniface Baleni, thereby occasioning actually bodily harm. The accused, who appeared before Magistrate Judith Chiaika for plea, denied committing the offense. After the accused took plea, the magistrate adjourned the case to 30th December 2020 for mention and fixing of trial date. Moving on in the news, Zamtel has been named the most improved enterprise and the most innovative enterprise by the Industrial Development Corporation. The awards were presented at the IDC Awards Gala held in Livingston over the weekend by Minister of Finance Walyangandu. In announcing the awards, IDC Chief Executive Officer MATEYO attributed the win to Zamtel's determination and success in rebuilding its business and its focus in driving innovation. The award for the most innovative enterprise was given to Zamtel for its Velocity home internet product, which has transformed the internet experience in Zambia. Commenting on the award, Zamtel Chief Executive Officer Sydney Mupeta thanked Zamtel staff for their contribution to the transformation that is taking place across the business.
We are proud of this recognition, which speaks to the transformational journey we have been on to improve our business. Over the last few years, we have been developing a number of digital solutions and will continue to innovate and deliver the best products to meet our customers' ever-evolving needs. The Zamtel team and I are humbled to win these awards. In a year that has been challenging for everyone, this recognition fuels our mission to improve the business by offering world-class products. At the heart of our strategy is technology and innovation that will transform our customers' quality of experience. We believe that every Zambian deserves the benefits of a digitally connected life. I further wish to thank our customers for their continued support and encourage potential customers to join the Zamtel family to start enjoying our services. Our pursuit of technology leadership and superior customer experience is driven by our staff who work tirelessly to ensure that we put our customers first in everything we do, and these awards belong to them.
The Zambezi River Authority has learnt with dismay the reportedly illegal registration of workers for the Batoka Gorge Hydroelectric Scheme. The Batoka Gorge Hydroelectric Scheme is an electricity project being done at the hydro station. This came to light during the ongoing environmental and social impact assessment disclosure process for the Batoka Gorge Hydroelectric Scheme, which is expected to come to an end on the 11th of December 2020. People purporting to be recruitment agents appointed by the authority or the developer are illegally registering and collecting monies from unsuspecting members of the public. However, the authority says it will not appoint any recruitment agents for purposes of recruiting workers on its behalf or indeed on behalf of the developer. As a binational organization, the authority remains committed to ensuring that the people of the republics of Zambia and Zimbabwe draw social and economic benefits from the development of the project. Meanwhile, the Zambezi River Authority says it is wholly committed to meeting its mandate of operating and managing the Kariba Dam and its reservoir as well as sustainably harnessing the hydropower potential offered by the waters of the Zambezi River that forms a common border between the republics of Zambia and Zimbabwe. This is according to a statement issued to Camnet TV by Zambezi River Authority Public Relations Officer Fitzgerald Muchindu on behalf of the company's Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Muyaradzi Munodowafa. On that note, we take our second set of commercials. To stay with us as we have international and sports news.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Have you had issues in your life and family? Has your life been stagnant or you have been going in circles? All hope is not lost. Your life will bounce back again. Dr. Francis Miles will be speaking at the Court of Heaven Conference on Thursday 3rd and Friday 4th December 2020 from 17 hours to 19 hours. On Saturday the 5th of December 2020, Dr. Francis Miles will conduct a full-day seminar on destroying evil limiting altars. Time 09 hours to 16:30 hours. Lunch and drinks will be on sale. On Sunday, Dr. Miles will conduct a service at 09 hours to 11 hours with your hosts, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Music by Kings Malembe Malembe. Admission is free.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, several people have been injured as security forces dispersed supporters of Ugandan presidential candidate Robert, known as Bobi Wine, in Kayuga near Kampala. 4 members of his campaign team have been injured. One of them, identified as Bobi Wine's music producer Dan Magic, was hit in the face. A police officer who is part of the security detail given to presidential candidates by the Electoral Commission also suffered head injuries. Almost 2 weeks ago, 54 people died in protest as the candidate's supporters called for his release from detention. He had been arrested at a campaign rally. Bobi Wine was later charged with violating pandemic restrictions on gathering of crowds and granted bail. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni condemned protesters and warned opposition politicians who he said misled young people to get involved in violence. We now get into sports news. In sports news, The Zambia Under-20 have arrived in Johannesburg ahead of the 2020 COSAFA Championship. Coach Perry Mutapa's side is expected to connect to Port Elizabeth, where the tournament will be held. Zambia are the current COSAFA Under-20 defending champions. The tournament runs from December 3rd to 13th and is being used as a qualifier for the 2021 AFCON to be held in Mauritania. Meanwhile, in the Zambia Under-17 men's national team is back home from South Africa, where they competed at the 2020 COSAFA Men's Under-17 Championship in Port Elizabeth. George Chilufya boys touched down at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport in Lusaka at 17:46 hours. Although they could not defend the championship, the young Chipolo Polos 3 wins from 4 matches were enough to book them a ticket to the 2021 Morocco Under-17 African Cup. It will be the second time that Zambia will be taking part in the Junior AFCON, with their first appearance coming in 2015. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Former police IG EPHRAIM MATEYO secretly sworn in as Chief KAPIJIMPANGA, but warned against funding violence. Health ministers say Zambia has a long way in eradicating HIV and AIDS. UPND youth appears in court over lone naked protest at UNZA after 12 days in detention. In international news, several injured as police disperse Bobi Wine supporters. And in sports news, Under-20 boys land in Johannesburg for COSAFA tournament as Under-17 arrive back home from South Africa. The Camnet word verse of the day is coming from the book of Matthew 6 verse 20 to 21, and it reads, "But collect for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.